Hello, good evening, everyone. Can someone please confirm if I am properly audible?
You're audible, sir.
Thank you.
Audible.
Yeah, thanks for confirmation. Okay, so I hope you all are doing good. Well, day before yesterday, there was a quiz exam. So we would love to hear the feedback from all of you guys. We received very few comments on the discourse, but looks like the paper, it was a little bit easy if we compare it with the last quiz one exam. So we would like to hear your comments, your suggestions on the quiz 2 exam. If anyone would like to volunteer first.
The mock quiz and the discussion thereafter for the mock quiz that helped me a lot.
Okay, so according to you, there were some strong relations between mock and quiz exam, is it?
This is the discussion that we had after the mock quiz of the mock exam. So in that, in mock, almost all concepts are covered, and in discussion also, while discussing those questions, we also we also had a revision of those concepts. So overall, that was a good revision.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So
Nice.
that helped me.
Okay. Anyone else would like to give their comments? I hope all of you would have at least attempted the quiz 2 exam. Is there anyone who has just not attended it day before yesterday? Okay, looks like no. Anyone else would like to give the feedback? Okay, so the answer keys are also published in case you have any ambiguity, you feel that there is any discrepancy in the questions and in the answers, you can bring those things here up.
Can we discuss the question in which we were passing the stream IITM and we're checking if it is less than 2, then we are setting the token.
Yeah, sure. Can you just okay? Let me just open the QP works. If you can tell me the exact question number, that would be helpful for me. The question paper set and the question number.
Okay, question paper set I have opened is QPB1.
Okay, QPB1. Just a minute.
And question number 152.
I'm just trying to navigate to that place. Okay, so question number 152. Yeah, actually, I'll just quickly share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, yeah, so do you have any specific doubt in this question, or do you want me to just walk through the overall question here?
So in the input field, it is binded with the Yeah, the name field.
Yeah.
Input field name, right? So when we will force load, the name IITM which we typed should be there.
Yes. Okay. So when you will reload, what will happen is, okay, let's first talk about that. If you will type IITM, what will happen? So this watcher will get triggered, right? The moment you hit the last character in that IITM string, the moment you hit M.
Yes.
Someone has raised hand. Let me check. Himanshu, do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir, but no. IITM will not be there because it's retrieving token in place of both.
Correct.
It's
Yeah,
not.
I'm coming to that extent only. Yeah. So what happens is that the moment you hit the key M on your keyboard, this watcher will get triggered. What will happen is it will check that what's the length of the new string that is there in the current input box. What is the current state? As you know now, there are since 4 characters IITM, so there are 4 number of characters. Definitely, the length is not less than 2. So since this left hand side or the left hand expression has become false here, you cannot expect this whole expression to be true. Since we are using AND operator, and for an expression to be evaluated to true in case of an AND operator, all of the expressions, the sub expressions, they all must be evaluated to true. So what will happen is we will go into the else part and we'll set this this dot token equals to true. So token is basically a data variable inside this view app. We'll just set it to true. And after that, what we'll do is we will create a key name token in the local storage. And what we'll do is we will initialize it with the value true that this token actually carries right now. Now, once you hit the refresh button or you do hard refresh, what will happen is this mounted hook will get triggered. And what we are doing is you are retrieving the value of token from the local storage and is assigning it to what? To the token and to the name as well. Now, since we are using V model in with we have binded V model with input attribute, since it gives us two-way data binding, the moment the value of this name variable has been changed, the same will be reflected on that input boxes. So that's why you will get true there instead of getting I.
Right. Got it.
So if I talk about some general things in the quiz 2 exam, there were actually quite a few questions. I would say there were at least 5 to 6 questions. Yeah, they can be actually coupled, right? You can actually create 3 or 4 pairs from the questions that you have had in the quiz 2 exam, and the code base for a couple of those questions were actually same. But I'm not sure in what order those questions were presented to you, because of course the order is generally randomized when you visit those in-person centers. Means if in case you have had a deeper look into a code base, you would have find out that the similar code base is appearing in the next question, or maybe you would have seen that the similar code base in one of the previous question. So that was also there, in order to compensate some amount of time, so that you don't have to read the whole lot of code once again, in case you remember what was there in the previous question, because the code base was exactly same. Just the question statement was different, the problem statement for. Second. Okay, so someone has said that they wanted to discuss about this question 143. If I am on the correct set, can someone please confirm? We write in the chat 143. Yes, that's not the correct set. UTC1. Okay, they are same questions. Okay. Yeah, I can go through this question then. So what is happening here is that we are creating a promise, and this promise is accepting two parameters. As you know, the first one would be the resolve callback. The other one would be the reject callback. There is something happening inside this promise that we'll look after it later, but there is just a small catch in this question. That when you want to resolve a promise, or when you want to see how that promise resolves or how that promise rejects, in order to basically find the actual output, what is usually done is, in the then block, the first argument that is given, or the first callback that is given to the then block, it is the function that will be triggered when the promise will be resolved, and the second callback would be the one that would be invoked when the promise will be rejected. So this was just given, as I said, means there was a small catch here. You don't need to worry that what keyword is written here. I have written here fail, I could have written here A, I could have written here B. So this is just given to slightly make this question a bit challenging, right? So this callback or this function fail or whatever it is doing, this will be triggered when the promise resolves, while this pass one, this will be triggered when the promise actually rejects. Now, when we look into the promise, that what is actually happening here, we created a function check. Since we are not invoking this function here, so I'll just move to the invoking statement here. This is where we are actually calling this. What we are doing is we are passing two parameters to this check function. One is 9. Remember, this is a number here, and the other one is a string. I hope you remember what is the difference between double equality and triple equality in JavaScript. Double equality will try to coerce the type of the variables, right, if possible, but triple equals to is used to do a strict check, a strict type check, that the values and even the types must be equal in order for the result to be true. So since one is a number, the other one is a string, however the values are same, still this condition won't pass. What will happen is, then you will go into the else if condition. What you will do is you will convert the A parameter, or whatever the value of this variable A is, into a string using this method toString, and then you will again compare it with the value of B. Now, since A was having 9 as a number, you converted it into a string. This has become a string now, a string that is containing a single character, 9. B is also having the same value. You can see here, we have not changed the B value anywhere here. So now both of these things have become same now after converting it into the string. So what will happen is this statement or this expression would be invoked. What would it do is, this callback will call the reject, and the argument that would be given to that callback would be partial match. Now here, again, I would like to mention that fail one would be invoked if you are calling the resolve function, and pass one will be invoked if you are rejecting the function, or sorry, if you are rejecting the promise. But here, what we have done is, since this condition got satisfied, we are rejecting this promise with a parameter partial match. What will happen is, you will come here to this second function. What you print on the console is pass summary and whatever you got as the parameter from the reject function. So what you got was partial match. So what will be the answer to this JavaScript program would be pass summary and partial match. This is what the answer is. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so till now, anyone else would like to share their comments, their experience of quiz 2 exam? How was it? How good was it? How bad was it? If yeah, anyone would like to?
Are you asking about the quiz, sir?
Yeah, quiz 2 exam.
Yeah, as Harshil said in the chat box, it was better than quiz 1, but I cannot say for sure because the transcripts haven't been released yet.
Okay, okay, but you still have got the answer key if you remember what answers you selected. you can
Yeah,
still find out about.
prima facie it was much better than quiz 1. The questions were more like it was like it has more easier level.
Okay. Yeah, it was slightly easier than the quiz 1 exam. I agree.
Also, thanks for releasing the mock solutions before the exam.
Okay, that also proved to be quite beneficial for most of you. Okay. Okay, all right. So yeah, in case you have any issues or any discrepancies related to the quiz 2 exam, just let us know. Put it on the Discord or bring it here in the live session. Well, apart from that, we have already entered into the last week of the course, into the 12th week. However, there is no content, specific content, lecture material, or any type of assignments. So it would act as some kind of cushion for you in order to work on your project and get the things done before the final deadline. Okay, I think we can start what we had planned for today. So we'll be demonstrating a bit about caching using Flask Caching. That is what we have planned for the today's session. For that, I would like to hand it over to Narendra.
Sir,
Yeah, yes, please.
I had a little issue last time as well when I was using Swagger to create the API documentation.
Yeah.
When I was downloading that Swagger, actually I built that documentation on top of what was provided last time for the student or courses table. But when I was downloading that into YAML, the original file was getting downloaded, even when I created the new one as well. Means what I have, what the documentation I have written, that was not getting downloaded.
That
I was
was not
facing this issue in Swagger. Is there any other tool that I could use to create API documentation?
okay.
I
You
just-
lost your YAML file.
Mm-hmm.
So you have lost your YAML file, right?
Yes.
I guess you'll have to write it again.
No, in which tool? Actually, using Swagger, I was not able to download it properly. Other than Swagger, if there,
I don't think you can download the HTML.
no, in YAML format only.
You are not able to download.
You can use Insomnia to write the documentation.
Yeah.
No, but I guess the concern that he is raising here is that he has already lost the documentation. Now, what shall he do?
No, I can write that again.
Yeah, he will
But
write it
okay.
again. He's saying that he's not able to download the YAML file from Swagger. Am I correct?
Insomnia, I guess. Yeah.
I think Swagger itself provides you a link where you can see the YAML coding for it. You can simply copy paste that in case you are not able to download it directly. Do you have the live version available for your documentation anywhere? Have you hosted it?
No.
Okay.
Should check.
So yes, the suggestions that Narendra and Manshu have given. So you can probably go with those.
Sir, I was asking, is there any way like where we can document APIs from the REST API automatically?
Yeah, there is a module in Flask, but I don't remember the name. That will like create the documentation, the Swagger documentation itself. But unfortunately,
I
don't remember
checked.
that. You should search on the internet.
I checked 2-3, but they still require like some kind of input. Maybe after the session, sir, you can like show for one simple API.
Yeah, I will then like search for that module, because I saw once that there is a module that automatically generate the documentation, the Swagger documentation.
Yeah, like as far as I can
API, yeah.
search, like I saw 2-3, but they still required like some amount of line per API to give some substantial documentation. So if you can, like after the session, if you are Abhishek sir, anyone can, or in next session is fine.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, all good. We'll probably find out the thing, and yeah, we'll share it here. Okay, is there anything else, or shall we start?
You can start, I think.
Okay. Narendra, would you like to
I'll
continue?
share my screen here.
Sure.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, yes, Narendra.
So I'll start with I'll create the directory first. Session, and then I'll create virtual environment and then cd into it, and then create virtual environment. So the today's agenda is to create, like cache the response on the server. So using Flask Caching. So now I will activate the virtual environment.
So today, what are we going to look into this session? What is this about?
Caching.
Catching. Okay, fine.
Caching.
Okay.
And now I will just install all the libraries that we will require today. So the first thing we will require is Flask. And it's taking too much time. Flask Caching. And we will require one more thing, that is Redis, because we are going to store the information. We are going to cache in the Redis database. So we have Flask Caching and Flask and Redis. So we have all the libraries we require. and then we'll start creating the application. The first thing I'll do, I'll just create a file. .py, where we will create. Then let's me go to the code editor. So the first thing I'll do, I will create a Flask instance. Flask. Flask. And then create a Flask instance. Pass the name of the module, and then for the test, I will create a route, simple route. The home route. The view function associated to it, I'll call it home, and it will return hello world. The demonstration. So let me run this application and then check is it working. Python. So it's working. So now my Flask application is set up. So we'll start with the Flask caching now. So the first thing I would like to show you that this is the documentation, and before you start using the Flask caching, you need to set up some. For this session, we are going to use the Redis, the backend Redis backend. So there are multiple choices you can have. Like I will go through all those, but I will not demonstrate them. But the first thing you need to set is cache type, where you want to store your data, which cache you are going to use. And we are going to use Redis cache, and you can also use the file system cache. File system cache is like where you can store the cache inside your inside the file system. And there are multiple ways you can store the data. And there are and if you are using the your Redis cache, then you need to set some more information about the you need to set some more configuration, like what will be the cache Redis host, what will the cache Redis port, and what will be the if you're not using any username and password, then you can skip these configurations. And you can also specify the which DB, because Redis is a index based database. You'll have multiple Redis databases, and I mean all those databases are indexed. Like the zero index database is different from one index database. So you can use this parameter to specify configuration to specify which database you want to use. And then you need to specify the cache Redis URL. So the first thing I'll do, I'll just create a directory. I'll create a. Let me stop this. I'll create a configuration file, and I'll put everything inside in that configuration file. And what I will do, I will go to that config.py and start writing the configurations which we will require in order to like get things done. So the first thing we need to write is cache type. Cache type. We are going to use, I'll copy and paste from here. The cache type, I am going to use cache Redis cache. So that I will write here. And then if you are using the Redis cache, as I said that you need to set some more configurations. The first thing I will require is cache Redis host. And that will be my local host. And I will have to specify the Redis port. That will be 6379, which is the default port. And then I'm not going to use any specific database. Like I'm not going to set this configuration. I will be happy to use the database with index 0. So other than that, I will require to use the cache Redis URL. URL is equal to Redis and then localhost.
Sir, spelling. Can you check the spelling?
Which one?
On second line, localhost.
Okay, that was AL. Localhost, and then I will be using port 6379. Okay, and one more configuration I would like to set. That is the default. The cache default timeout. Cache default timeout, which the default time till when our cache is valid. After that, it will be invalid. So let me fix it for 100 seconds. It's in the seconds. Let me read the time. So this is all I need. So I need to import this configuration inside my app. So the way I can do it, like app.config from object, and then the first thing I'll have to do is like import. I have to import the config. And then I'll pass the config. So now configuration is done. So the next thing I'll do, I'll import the from Flask Caching. Import cache. And then I'll create the cache object. Yes, and I'll pass that. So in order to use the Flask cache, the first need to import the caching, and you need to set the configuration based on what kind of like cache you want to use. Like if you are willing to use Redis cache, then you need to specify the cache type and then host and then port and the URL. And this one is more generic kind of. You can use it for any kind of cache. Okay, so we will start with let me cast the return statement of this home function. Cast dot cast decorator, and then I will pass the timeout. Timeout is equal to 60 seconds. Means this cache will be valid till 60 seconds. After that, it will be deleted. So let me try. It's working or okay. So let me run this application, and I will be checking whether this has been kept. I am using this. I don't remember the name. Its name is this GUI name is. It's different from the sir which sir is using. It's a Redis Insight I am using. The Redis Insight is a GUI which you can use to see the like cache which your application has stored. So you can see that it has stored one cache. It says hello world. This means now if I will send a request to this endpoint, the data will come from this cache. Okay, and it will stay there for 60 seconds, and after 60 seconds it will just expire, and you will not be able to see that from here. Okay, that 60 seconds happened and it has disappeared from the cache. So let me show one thing, that I will verify that the data is coming from this cache. So what I will do, I'll just import the time module, import time, and I will ask this function to respond after some time. So for now, let's ask this function to sleep for 10 seconds maybe. So if I will make a request to this endpoint, then let's not make it, let's make a fresh request, localhost 5000. So it will, time.sleep. Correct. Let me rerun this. So if I'll make a request here, it will wait for 10 seconds to respond. This spinner is moving. So after 10 seconds, it will give me response, the hello world. So after 10 seconds, it gave me hello world. But now that the data has been cached, if you go to the cache, the GUI, then you can see that this data has been cached, and it will stay there for 1 minute. So if I will go for this endpoint, you can see that I'm immediately getting the response. It's not waiting for 10 seconds. So if I will remove this cache, and then if I will make the request, localhost 5000, then it will stay. This will now wait for like 10 seconds to respond, because I have put it the time.sleep there for 10 seconds. Now And if I will now do, then it is immediately giving a response. So what you are doing here, you are caching the response of this function, this home function. So whatever this home function is returning, you are just caching it inside your Redis database. And you can see that here the response is saved. Is there any question?
So that Redis alone, can you just once show me how to set up the connection alone?
Okay. So you should go to its official website and then first download this GUI.
Yes, I have a GUI actually.
Okay, you have this GUI. Okay.
Not this, but similar one. Yeah.
Okay, so you go to the add database and add database manually, and then you specify your host first.
It's localhost, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Localhost. And then port which you want to 679 is the default port. And in default port, and you can specify the database alias. So I will make it Narendra 3 2. I mean this will appear as a, I mean the database name will be alias with the Narendra 2.
Okay, that's
Username
okay.
you can skip, and password you can skip, and you can put some database index which database you want to use. So 0 I am already using, 5 I am already using, so I will be using 3. So add the Redis database. Now you have one more database. This is the index 3 database, and it is aliasing with the Narendra 2. So you have this.
Will the cache appear here?
Yeah, you can add your key value here. Key name, let's say life. I'll add, and time to live if you could, let's make it for 30 seconds. And then you can add, it's kind of dictionary. This is dictionary inside the dictionary. You can enter the field here, like name, and you can add key. So if you refresh here, you can see that you have one entry live, and it has one entry name and live.
Okay, so for this to work, should the Redis server be running somewhere?
Yeah, it should be running somewhere.
Yeah, that's what maybe that's my mistake, because when I gave a test connection, it was not getting connected. Can you just show me how to do it? You did not do it, right? Can you just show me how to start a connection?
Okay, so you go to the live server and okay, sorry, I made mistake.
Narendra, it would be Redis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not necessary for us to use the Ubuntu, right? I mean, is it WSL also we can use, right, sir?
It's already running.
Yeah, for you it is running. So I just want to run it. So what's the?
So you can run this command Redis server.
Okay.
Have you installed the Redis in your system?
Yes, sir. I mean, I followed the screencast actually.
So you just have to type the command Redis server and it will start running.
Okay, Redis server. Yeah. Okay.
And we plug in the charger.
Okay, got it. Connection success. Sure. Thanks, sir. Let's continue.
Is there anything else? So one thing I would like to show, you can set some key prefix. Okay, let me first make a request here, and then I'll show you what changes it will make the key why we are using this key prefix thing. Let's hope that server is running. Okay, wait for 10 seconds. I'll remove from the next one. Okay, so if you go to this, I'm using this database. So if you go to this, like if you see the name, it says the Flask Cache and View. So if you want to change this name, you need to set the key prefix parameter. So let's say if I use the key prefix, and let's name it name, then this will be, I mean, this will be used in the naming the cache, which the key of the cache, which is being used to store this this value. So now if I will go and rerun this application, let's close this. And first, and one thing I would like to change, I mean, there's no need to keep this. Okay, now if I will go to this GUI, then you can see that the name has changed, and the name has been appended. The key prefix, the value of the key prefix parameter has been used to like create the key name. Now it's Flask Cache and name. If you change the key prefix value, the name will be changed. It will be like the first cache, Flask Cache, and then name. So whatever the name you will, maybe I should name it little bit. So if I will go and make a request, and then I'll refresh, then you can see that the whatever the name was, it has been appended to the Flask Cache. So in some sense, you are renaming the cache, the key of the cache, or whatever the value you are storing. So this is the one thing, and I mean, it's not necessary that you always use this cache in order to cache the like output of your view function. You can always use it with the regular function also. So let's say you have a regular function f, and I'll call it regular. I'll call it regular, and then it will return string regular. Then I can also cache the value of this regular function. So what I need to do, I just need to copy and paste it here. It will, I'll keep. So now if I will run this application, okay, I need to call this function also. And then if I will, so you can see that there are two caches regular. So the regular cache has been added here. So what I am trying to say here is, it's not necessary that you always have to use it with the route. You can create your own function, and then you can use this cached decorator. So this is one thing. Let's say you want to add something which, I mean, let's say you want to cache some data which is global to everybody, and let's say you want to make a API request or something which takes time. So why I wrote this time.sleep here, because I wanted to simulate something. I mean, I wanted to create a task which takes 10 seconds to complete. So if you'll write some task here which will take 10 seconds to complete, then if you'll make a request to this route, then the first thing it will happen that it will wait for 10 seconds to complete the task, and then it will return the hello world. So and if you think that the result can be cached, I mean, there is no harm in caching that response. Then you can cache that response. So if you think there is something that which is like which is relevant to every user, and then you can use the regular function, and it's the name should it's not necessary that the name of the function is regular. It's just a name I gave. You can name it anything. I just wanted to say that you can cache the result of any regular function. It's not necessary that you always had to use it with the route with the view function. So now what I will do, I will create a template here. Let me do this one. Templates. Then I'll go to the templates folder and create a index.html. Index.html. And then instead of returning this one, I will return enter template. So what I'm trying to show here is that it's not that you can only store the string or something. You can store the whole HTML. So whatever the output of this view function, it will be stored inside your Redis database. If you will use this decorator cache.cast. So let me rerun this application. Oh, it's working. So let me put some data inside this index.html. And I will. So hello from index, and let me check what is being stored here. Cache from home. Okay, so you can see that all the whole HTML has been cached. And one more thing I wanted to show, let's say you have already cached some data and you want to reuse that data, then you can also do that. So let's say you have this, you have already cached this regular. Okay, you have already cached the output. I mean the return whatever the return object is of this regular function. So if you want to reuse that, then you can also use that. And all you have to do, in order to demonstrate that, I'll create a new route. And I'll call it regular. And then I will write a function. Name it red. then return. So whatever the value returned by this regular function. So the way you do it, so you write cast cast dot get, and you pass the function name. And if you are using the key prefix, then you need to pass the key prefix name. Regular. So what will happen? I mean, as soon as you start your server, the value returned by this regular function will be stored inside the cache with the key prefix regular, and then because you are running this function also, so that cache will be used by this regular function. What I'm doing here, whatever the response of this regular function was, it has been cached. And now I am fetching that cache data and displaying it when someone is hitting the endpoint /regular. So let's try this. And let me first see whether the application is running. So now the first thing I'll do, I'll go and check whether the regular cache, so the regular cache is there. So I will go and hit the /regular. So you can see that whatever the value of this that cache was has been displayed here. So what I'm saying, you can cache some data on the server and you can reuse it in any route you want. I mean, you can use it anywhere using this get method. All you need to do, you need to pass the whatever the cache key prefix you have set, or if you have not set that, you can use the name of the function which you are caching. But if you are using the regular function, you are not using any route, then you need to specify the key prefix. It's mandatory here. So the thing that you need to take care of, you have learned here that you can use the already cached data and you can fetch that data using cache.get. It's not that you can only use the cached data from the cached from the regular function. You can use this cache also. If you change this home, you are using the key prefix home. So if you use this home, then the value returned by this endpoint will be the value stored using this statement.
Sir,
Yeah.
will you be talking about memorize feature?
Yeah.
Okay. So you will you also demonstrate like how we can cache data per user, and then we can like unset that data?
Yeah. Yes, I will be talking about that also. So I will hit this URL, then you can see that the hello from index is coming. And if I will hit again the regular, then you can see that it will also give hello from index because I'm using this cached data. Okay, so let's go to the memorization because okay. So in order to, so the only problem, before that, what I would like to show you. Okay. So I'll create a new route, app.route, and then user user slash let's name. Let's give this a name and let's write the function. You can use this name variable here, name, and what it will do is return the way it will work. When you will hit the URL slash user and you'll pass the name parameter here, then it will return the name value. So whatever you have passed, it will return that thing. So for example, if I go to the user slash Narendra, okay, this is how it will work. And let's say I want to cache, if I will cache this using cache.cache, let me copy this. If you cache this using cache.cache, and let's name user. Let me check whether the so if I will hit this URL, it will say the Narendra, but if I will change the name Abhi, then it should be giving me the Abhi, like, but it is giving me Narendra because it has cached the data and it will not it will not go till here. It will not go till the return statement. It will just take the data from the cache and it will return it to the user. So and it is not specific to the, but it is not taking consideration of the parameter which is being passed to the function. So in order to achieve that kind of functionality, that if you want to cache the data which take consideration of the parameter which is being passed to the function, then you can use cache.memoize. So if you use this cache.memoize, then what will happen? It will take consideration of this name also. I mean, if you will change the different name, it will create different cache and it will store there. Right now, if in the decorator cache.cache, the only problem was the once you hit that URL, it will cache the data, and whenever it will not take consideration of the parameter which is being used, which is being passed to the user, to this user function. So let me run this and show you what changes has happened. So user prefix, key prefix you are not allowed to set. I will remove this. And then if I will hit this URL, it will say Abhi, and if I change the parameter, it will say Narendra. And if you go to this Redis database, the GUI, then you can see that, I mean, if you click on this is the cache which have stored the Abhi, and this is the key which have stored Narendra. So it is saving the different key value pair for the different parameters. This is what you are asking. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Sir, the value in the UI, basically we are getting some kind of binary values, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what is it about?
This one.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. It's in some. I don't know actually. What is it?
Yeah, for me, I mean, for you it is showing Narendra. For me, it is just binary.
Okay.
I mean, maybe based on UI to UI, it might differ. I think I'm not sure, but it's okay.
encrypted
Fine.
Data, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is catching the what we can. It's not key value pair, right?
Yeah.
Kind of key
this is the
value, but
key.
it's the value is not a string, basically, right?
Yeah.
Or
This
it might
is some
have-
encrypted form.
Yeah.
Whatever the response object is.
Okay. Okay, so then let's continue.
So for the in the logical point of view, you can think of it like it caches the data returned by the function. For example, this user function is returning the name, so it will cache the name.
Yeah.
This-
For now we
this-
are returning. Now we are returning just a string, right?
Yeah.
So why is it not showing like that string? I mean, can we, if we return a JSON, will it show the value
No.
as JSON?
Yeah, you can see the HTML, the whole HTML.
Yeah. Okay.
Endpoint name to slash. Okay. So it will hit this. So the response of this endpoint was an HTML. This index.html. So if I'll go there and so if I click, you can see that the whole HTML has been cached.
Okay. No, for me it is just showing as a binary. Maybe UI to UI it might differ. I think.
Okay, it must be serializing in some form and then storing it inside the Redis database.
I don't get the content. I'm just getting some exclamation question mark. The first part which you are having at the top.
So this one,
Yes, sir. That's what I get. Nothing else.
you're
So
using the same
I'm having
GUI.
some options to view as plain text, JSON, hex table, hex. That's what I have. And I'm using this UI called as Redis Desktop Manager.
Okay.
Okay, let's proceed. If we have some time, let's in the end we can see it.
Okay, and then what I will say. So let's now create some model and then store some data like returned by the model. So what I will do, I'll create a model. And before that, I will require to install the Flask SQL ultimate. Here. And then I'll create a model here. Set the models from I'll create a DB of SQL Alchemy object. And then I'll create a model class. Let's call it user. I'll pass DB dot model. And it will have three columns. The first one is ID. And then it will be a primary key. And then name. Name, and let's one third column. So these are the three columns our database will have. And then what I need to do, I need to write the database URL. Equal to SQLite. And then I will put this inside this folder only. And I will call it test.db. And then I need to initialize I need to integrate this SQL Alchemy object to this application. So for that I will use db.init app. The app instance here. So before that I will need to import this DB from models. Now everything is set up. So one thing I would like to do before we make a first request, so I can use this app.before first request decorator. Before first request, what it will do before receiving the first as soon as it will get the first request, it will run the function associated with this decorator.
It's from Abhishek sir.
So before first request, I want to do something like create the database. So as soon as some user make a request to our application, what I wanted to do, I wanted to create the database. And then create all. And then after that, what I will do, I will create two users. User one, user, and I will pass the name user one, and then I'll pass the country. Country is equal to country one. And the same thing I will do for what user. User two, and I'll just take the name of this one. And then we'll add this to the session db.session.add. Same thing I will do for user two also. And then we'll commit the session.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just want a help from you. So we are creating these models, right? So
Yeah.
can you help me how to create a composite key? I mean, two values as a primary key, namely ID and name. How to have how it as a combined primary key in the models.py.
I'll have to look for it.
I mean, can you go to models.py?
Okay. Yeah.
So here the primary key is just the ID, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is
I understood your problem. You want the combination of two columns to be the primary key.
Yes. So if we just give another primary key equal to true, will it work? Like ID for name also, if you give primary key comma true or whatever.
Yes,
It
yes,
should
yes,
work.
Gokul. Yeah, it would work.
It will work.
You can make a composite primary key.
Okay.
So can we do that here?
Okay. Let me first run this application.
So and also in that models.py, don't we need to import all the things like import column, string, integer, or
We have the object DB, right?
You have
That's
the
okay.
object we are using directly db.column.
Okay.
If,
Yeah.
If you want to use column alone, then you need to import it.
Okay. Yes, I got it. Thanks.
Okay, so where I was. Integer spelling int. Okay, spelling let's
Capital I.
Yeah, fortunately it's working for now. Let me make the first request. Not null constraint failed. User.id inserted into. Okay, maybe
Auto increment, should we give it?
Yeah.
No, that's the reason.
No, it's because we are like using this primary key, so it's running twice. I don't know why.
So we are not passing the ID value, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason, I think. I mean, when creating the values, when giving the values, we are just giving the name and the country. Right?
Yeah.
It is not taking the value for ID. Either we have to give an auto increment or something like that.
No, it's not required. If I'll remove this one, I mean it's sending the request. It's inserting the data twice because if you see this error message, it says that where it is.
It's there in the web page also.
So the not null insert into user, not null constraint failed. Okay. But it should.
But since primary key is not null.
But it should work because. But it works.
Yeah, so what happens is that if we have a single primary key column, which is also
Okay, yeah.
an integer type, a number type, it is automatically set to auto implement. You need not explicitly set it. But since we were trying to create a composite primary key, so we need to do some work around. Either we need to make it an auto incremented column, or pass all of the three values
Got it.
while adding the index.
Can we give an auto increment for this?
Yeah, because you gave two, so it requires the value of the ID also. If you will not give the primary key, it will work fine.
Okay, so can we give the auto increment and have two primary key, composite key? Since we have seen the single primary key already.
I mean, it's better that you give value to it. Auto INCR double-E. Is the spelling correct?
This double E,
Yes, sir.
it needs just one.
Is it correct now?
Yeah, looks to be.
Auto increment is equal to true. So let me do this one.
Come with that.
Not null constraint failed. I mean, let me give the value. Where is it? App.py. I'll give the value and then we'll see how it reacts. ID is equal to 1. ID is equal to 2. And then if I will make a request, hello from the index, now it's working. But the auto increment is not working.
Yes, auto increment is not working.
Maybe there is a spelling mistake or something. I don't know. Okay, so this is the composite primary key then, ID and name. So what I was doing. So for now, let me comment this out. This app, am I audible? Hello?
Yes.
You're audible.
This one is. Yeah, so before first record, let me comment this out. Not because I'm going to rerun this application, and whenever I will rerun the application, I will send a request and then it will run and throw some error. So what I was trying to do here is, if you go to the application.py and then instead of using, so what I'm saying that based on, and let me create one more template here, user.html. User.html, inside the user.html, what I will do, I will just print user.name from user.country. So I'm using this Jinja template here. So what I will do, I will, instead of only returning the name, what I will do, I will just use the render template. render template, and then user.html and pass this user. So before passing this user is equal to user, I need to fetch that from database. So user is equal to yeah, user is already imported. Here user dot query dot get, and then you can pass the id here. id maybe it will not work now because there is not one primary key. I mean, let me check first. Okay. Slash user incorrect number of values in identifier to formulate primary key for session dot get. Yeah.
It needs both.
So I don't want to use this get now. Query dot filter by id is equal to 1 dot user dot query dot filter by id is equal to 1 dot first. This page is related to user one from a country one. So if you go to the this one, so you can see that you have a cache which have cached the whole data related to that user. And if I will go to and I will change the parameter value away, it will cache the data related to. Okay, I'm not using memoize maybe. So if I am changing, even if I am changing this data is all, I mean, this is returning the user one from country one. Maybe I am not using the cache.memoize. No, I am using the cache.memoize.
No, use me.
Okay, I have not changed this one. Maybe I should change this. Maybe I should use it like this. So the filtering was not right. What happened? Okay, now it's cache. I need to delete this cache first. It's already deleted. Okay, it was 1 second remaining, so no problem. So now if I will go to the away, then it will, I don't know what this ID is now. Let me check for the filter by is not working or what. Filter by name is equal to name. Let me change it to ID. What was the name? Okay, what happened? Malformed URL. Okay, it's not a problem. It should work actually. Let me put str here. String.
Yeah, currently it would be string. Complete.
I mean, let me try first for the ID. It was working for the ID. Then I will int ID, and I will pass the ID here. I mean, let me check what is the issue first. ID is equal to ID.
So maybe it's like we don't have that Narendra and Abhi inside of the database, right? When we gave that name.
Yeah, ID is there.
The ID one is
Okay,
there.
okay, okay. The name was different. It was user one. That's why it was not working.
Yeah. So if we had given user one, then it would have been working.
Yeah, it would have been work. So, and then if you go to this one, then you can say that this page has been cached. And if you'll go to the I mean, if you try changing this parameter, then you can see that the page is related to user 2, and you can also see that this page has also been cached. This one for user 1 and this one for user 2. So both the pages has been cached. So if I'll again retry to like get the information of this user, the page related to this user, I mean, this will come straight from the cache. So, and the one thing I was also showing, I was planning to show that you can also delete this main cache, or you can always clear all the cache. So the thing that you can use, let me create one more route, and if I will hit that route, I will delete that cache. App dot route, and I will name it clear CL, clear cache, clear, let me clear cache, and CLR. And all I have to do, I have to run one command, cscache cache dot clear, cache dot clear, and then return as something, cache has been cleared. So let me demonstrate it. So what happened if I
could you also try so
Yeah.
could you also try one thing? Could you please in that user int ID, could you put that sleep function once more just to see if it works?
Which one? Yeah,
You have
In
given
that
the
user
time
endpoint under memo I, can you put the sleep function?
which function?
So line number 46.
Sleep time dot sleep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Time dot sleep, and then I'll wait for 10 seconds. Okay,
So what does this do actually?
So if I will, let me read some /user/1. And if I will hit this URL, then it will wait for 10 seconds to return the, so whatever response it is going to respond to
Okay.
return. Yeah, it is waiting for 10 seconds, but now if I will hit the URL again, localhost/user/1, then it will return it quickly because this has already been cached. It's coming from the cache now.
Okay.
If you have the auth decorator above that, will it make a difference when you memoize?
I don't think so.
Because while you were doing it, I was trying it on my system. So with the sleep function, cache.cached works, but cache.memoize does not work.
With the sleep?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's working here.
Okay. The only difference in mine is I have a auth required decorator also above that.
Okay. So I don't think it should affect how it works.
Okay.
Because maybe you are the request you are sending, the user is not authenticated. So it's not, even the function is not being run.
No,
That might
see,
be the case.
if I put cache.cached timeout equals 60,
Yeah.
it works. So
Yeah.
I put that time.sleep equals time.sleep 5.
Yeah.
I do it first time, it waits for 5 seconds, and subsequent times when I do it,
it doesn't.
It comes immediately.
Yeah.
But if I decorate it with cache.memoize, then every time I do it, it waits for 5 seconds.
Are you trying with different values? Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's the case.
Because if you try different values, then memoize, each time you give a different value, memoize will.
No, I'm using it with the same value.
I don't think it should affect, but I don't know.
Okay, I'll try.
Because in order to try the auth, I need to do a lot of setup.
Okay, so it's okay. I'll find it later.
So I cannot do it immediately.
No problem.
So for now, let me rerun this, and I will show you how you can delete the cache. So if you go here, so you can see that there is a cache which has cached that this is related to user one and like country one. But if you will hit this URL, the URL which we have created the clear cache, then it will clear the whole cache. And if you clear cache, so cache has been cleared, and then if you'll go immediately here and try getting the cache, it's already gone because it has cleared all the cache. So you should not create a route which can delete all the cache, but you can, the thing is that there is a function that can clear all the cache. And the same thing you can do with this memoize. You can delete the memoized cache also. The function, the name of that delete memoize. You can use this delete memoize to delete the cache using memoized, cache.memoize. So if I
Shall
will,
we do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it once. Yeah.
app dot delete m. The name is not good, but for the demonstration, let keep it clear. I mean clean. Whatever the name it is. Delete memoirs, you can cache dot delete memoirs, and you need to pass the function, the value of the function, or here it is, user, and then return user deleted. So if you'll go to the now, before create, let me check whether the it's running or not. 5,000 like user/1. Okay, it will wait for 10 seconds. Class object has no, okay, it should be cache.
It's route app.route.
Yeah, this has been cached, and now if I will hit the this URL, so firstly I'll check whether it has been cached or not. So you can see that it has been cached, and now if I will hit that URL, and what was the name, /delete. So if I will hit that URL, then it will delete the value cached by deleting message by relative name is not supported.
We are not passing any identifier for it to know that we are deleting a particular thing. Right?
Okay, let me
How
check.
would it know that we need to delete a memoirs?
This one, and then you need to pass the value also. Delete memoirs, the function name, and the demo and user. Okay. Delete memoirs, the user is the function name, and ID, and then one. I mean, it should work. Or maybe you should pass some data from here. Makes sense. ID, and I'll pass the ID here. Let's rerun this. And make a request for this one. And then after that, what I will do, I'll pass this one. Okay. So let me first check whether it has been cached or not. We have user one. So the next thing I will do, I'll just pass this, and instead of integer, I will pass one. Deleting message by relative name. Why it's showing this? Let me check for the document what it's saying. Delete memoirs, user has membership, and it should work. Big foo, and then food bar, and then in the pass. I don't know whether it's
So in the documentation, it has given like class dot object, right?
I mean,
So we
this
give like app dot user or something.
if I will remove this user, if I will remove this, then the program doesn't know to which I am.
Is it
I
like
mean,
app dot user or something, or models or whatever? I don't know. Because it's in the documentation, it's given like class
Yeah.
dot something, right?
Well, that was for the class methods. And let me try. I don't know. It's just the amount of. It's working. User deleted.
So what happened? Okay.
Okay. But I don't know whether it has deleted or not. And then let me first remove this one, the time dot sleep for some time, because we know that it's working. And then I know that the pace is also there. And let me remove this cast. Okay, I can use the clear URL here.
Yes, sir.
Throw the name clear cache. Everything is clear now. And then if I will use /user/1, then this is now cached. Yeah. And then if I will go to this one, delete, say the user deleted, but I don't know whether it's deleted or not. It's not deleted. Let me try for a fixed number. Because
Shall we increase the catch timeout to some more little extended
60?
time? 60 seconds seems to be very small, right?
Maybe
With 200 seconds. 100, yeah, fine.
Memoized ID 1. Let me clear all this. Then step 1, and then I will go and check. So we have a cache, and then if I will delete user delete.
Then can you please come back to the VS Code screen just for once?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a minute. Can you try removing that one from 50th line number?
This one.
Yes. Just keep user comma ID.
This one only. So it will remove everything with any ID.
So ID
No, we are
it is
passing
getting
ID,
from the
right?
URL.
Okay, whatever the ID will pass, it will remove that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Start with the clear cache. So we have one entry in the cache now. Now if I'll okay. Say the user deleted, and let me check. Okay, it has deleted.
Yeah,
Okay.
so probably the reason was that we were passing two arguments, and that function for which we are using memoirs, it is accepting just one argument.
It's accepting one argument, but what will be the value of argument? It's ID, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you have two arguments.
Then we need to pass.
So how will it know? Maybe.
Yeah, right now it is just accepting one argument. So what we'll do is we will pass the underlying function that is being invoked when you are calling that memoirs decorator, or whenever it is being executed. Along with that, we are just passing the attribute that is being used as a reference with that memoirs constructor. Decorator.
Okay, whatever. What is happening here? Whatever the ID you are passing.
Yes.
It takes the ID here, and then it checks for the user function, and whatever this user function has cached for this ID, it will delete that.
Correct. Yeah.
So if that user for line number 45, if that user, has two parameters.
Yeah.
And
then you probably need to pass two there.
So
both
maybe,
of the parameters that corresponds.
We should check here. Maybe we can check here.
Yes. Yeah.
Name I will pass. Okay, I forgot this one. And if I will use the name, okay, I'm not caching anything for this name.
Just print that name. That's it. No need to do anything.
But how will we verify that it's working? I guess it should work, and I need to pass that name here also. Name. I think it should work. Yeah. So if I will pass some name here also, and let me do one thing. I will pass the name here also, and where is it? User.html. I'll just add a h1 tag and print the name. I think I can pass the name here also. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So now we are using both the names. So I'll start with again clear cache. And we will believe on clear cache this time. Let me rerun this. Let me check whether there anything inside the cache. Yeah. So let me clear this cache. Yeah, it's working. And then let me check here. So we have a cache which has this entry, and if I will delete slash Narendra, then it has deleted. Maybe it will delete the cache. Hopefully, yeah, it is deleting. So if I will change the value, I mean, let me rerun this. Let me clear the cache, and if I will change this, now it's cached. So if I change the name here, and it will say user deleted, but I don't think it will delete the cache. Yeah, it will still remain here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the other catch there, sir?
Huh?
What's the other one? There are two catches, right? What's the 100-byte catch?
Yeah, one second. I just need to plug in the earphone.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you try speaking?
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
what is the second catch that is catching? So 100-byte. What is that actually? Can you open that?
This one.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It comes whenever you use the memcache. There is some cache. I mean, if you
It is
not
not
use the
related to
memcache,
user.
yeah, it is something which is related to the inner functionality.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
whenever
okay.
you will use the memcache, it will appear.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Because I'm done with the presentation.
Similarly, we
learn-
can catch the JSON data also, right?
Yeah. So this is how you can like cache the data and delete the data from the cache.
Sir, you can like talk about the documentation.
Okay, you can like put that create a thread on this course, and I can answer there because I need to go and recheck that. I need to verify that first. I mean, but I know that there was a library which used to create that Swagger documentation.
So Himanshu, I'm not completely sure, but I guess if you write your API using Fast API, so it provides you a special endpoint.
Automatically it will come, right?
I think yeah, it provides you a special endpoint. I don't exactly recall the endpoint name, but yeah, it basically creates the whole API documentation for you in the Swagger form.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I knew that, but like I do not want to migrate to Fast API at this point.
So you
I
are
was
using
just trying
Flask
to stay
RESTful.
in the yeah.
Well, there
Like,
would be some
writing,
libraries like,
like
PyDoc and all, but they won't create the Swagger documentation. They'll just create the documentation for your code.
yeah, that's what I was like. I was seeing like after searching somewhere. So we still have to give some input to the library to create some meaningful
Correct.
documentation.
Yeah, of course, definitely
Fast
something
API
would be
thing
required.
is the Fast API point is like I knew this, but like at this point I do not want to migrate because writing documentation at a point is easy than like migrating my whole stack.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if any tool can help you, just create a documentation by just doing some magic.
Right.
Of course, definitely you need to put some efforts, or of course, some efforts would be required even from your end as well, even if you find any such package. But yeah, let us just try to do some browsing and see if something works.
Yes, sir. That's why I asked here, like last resort, if there such a tool exists. Then otherwise I will write it myself. Like I had my documentation from last time, so like for some endpoint, it's already there. It won't be much work, but since we are like making too much endpoint this time, it's definitely something. That's why I asked you in the first place. Do we necessarily have to write documentation? You said yes.
Okay, one thing as you mentioned means you already have the documentation from your last time project. Why do you want to do it again?
Sir, I will adding some new endpoints
in API.
That's why. Yes, sir. Like on the marks, last year, I didn't have anything on the dashboard because that was route. The thing is that I still have to add some new endpoints because of like last time the dashboard part was all handled by the Flask route. So
Okay.
it was that I was only using APIs.
Okay.
Yeah, I was only using APIs for deck cards and a response, so that my switching card is asynchronous. That's it. Like I didn't use for the dashboard and all.
Okay.
So this time, I also have to make endpoints for import and export thing, and then I still have to do a lot of endpoints.
Okay. Well, yeah, as we said, means we'll try to look for it, but let's see if there is something we can come up with.
Yeah, otherwise you can write the YAML file.
That's the last option.
So one thing.
So sir, we can't get away with it, right? We can get away without writing the document.
Sorry.
Like can you skip or we can write some. Yeah, like we can write some main API documentation, not every single one, like something like that.
See, what happens is that during your Viva, even the examiner will not have enough time to look through the implementation. So what he or she will be interested in is to basically look at the documentation.
Yeah, sir, about that, like last time I worked very hard on the documentation, and like the examiner didn't even look for like 2 seconds. Like I just switched the tab, she said it's okay, and then it was done.
So you can hope for the similar kind of examiner then.
Yeah, I do know that like not every time it's same, but like if there isn't any official word, then it would be like a last resort if something happens. Otherwise,
This
the
might be a
blame will be on
coincidence,
me.
but yeah, we cannot commit that this will happen.
Okay, sir. I will write on the Discord and I will like tag both of you, and then if like something exists, then it will be very helpful.
Maybe you should tag Taser also,
Okay.
because he knows a lot of tools.
Okay.
So once again, Cherian, are you here? I mean, the Redis UI, we are using it, right? So I was telling you that I'm just getting all the catches in binary, right? Is there anyone who else got it, the HTML format? Cherian, if you were doing it.
Yeah. So I tried this directly on my REST API. So I tried it at an endpoint which gives out the cards for a user, and you pass the user ID through the endpoint.
Okay.
So the cache function works, but memoize does not work. If I put cache.cached timeout equals 60, that works. I can test it with time.sleep. But cache.memoize, each time it sleeps for 5 seconds.
Okay. So no. My question is that did you get the caching in a string format? I mean, human readable format. That's my question.
It is. See, I am using this monitor from Redis CLI. I could not install this Redis Insight.
Okay.
So Redis CLI has a command called monitor, and that gives you whatever the key value pairs. So that.
But here the value is HTML document, right?
No, it's not HTML. It's passing JSON.
Okay, yeah, from your. Okay.
I mean, is it human readable, the value?
See, I can see between the human readable values, there are things like x94, x8c slash, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But you still have the human readable format, right?
Yes.
Just like how Sir used to have. Okay. Okay. By the way, you're returning a JSON format. Am I right?
Correct. I'm returning a list basically with
okay.
Yeah, JSON format.
Okay. Maybe I'll check it out. So what's the UI that you're using?
He's using CLI.
I am using Redis CLI. There is a command called monitor. So there you can see these key value pairs. And whatever get request is sent, you can see that get and set. Set EX and get EX.
Okay. Okay, then I had to check it out. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so that's all from myself.
So anyone has any questions?
Okay, so yeah, looks like no one seems to have any other questions. So shall we close the session for today?
Yes, sir. Thanks for the session.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So yeah, we wish you all a very happy Holi. So we'll be meeting after Holi then. It's on Saturday, I guess. Yeah, Saturday. So again, yeah, wish you all a very happy Holi, and yeah. So bye bye. Good night.
Okay.
Happy
Yeah.
Holi, guys.
Thank you.
Happy Holi, sir.
Happy Holi, sir.
Thank you.